Thank you for joining us today at Miniature Wargaming Labs. Today, in part 1 of our 8-part series of learning to play Planet 28, we are going to discuss what you need to play. The first thing you'll need are the rules. This is the primary rulebook for Planet 28. Parts 1 through 6 of this series will cover this rulebook. Additional rulebooks to add extra rules to your games are Death Machines. We'll cover this in part 7. This adds vehicles to your games. And in the final part, we'll discuss Death on the Periphery. This is how to add solo and co-op rules to the game. The second thing you'll need is a game space and board or playing mat with terrain. So if you look in the back of the rulebook of Planet 28, you'll see a section in scenarios called Scenery, and this is where the designer recommended a 90 by 90 centimeter playing area. So this is just short of a 3 foot by 3 foot game, and he recommends a 60% board coverage. But I'll give some examples of what I've thought about doing. There's the larger format of the 4x4. You have your option of making something wild and uninhabited, or something more contemporary or futuristic, with this example of infinity terrain on a 4x4 mat. One of my favorite options is to use some kill team boards, given the variety of spaces covered and the variety of nature. So we have enclosed underground spaces, we have ruins on Mars, or ruined city settings that have an excellent pulpy fill. Another option is some 2x2 spaces for one of my favorite games, Necromunda. That's the thing about Planet 28. It's really an open-ended narrative, but remember, the bigger the size of your board and the terrain on there will affect how long it's going to take you to move around and some of the fields of fire you have. So short boards with lots of terrain favor getting in close hand-to-hand combat, while big boards with open fields of fire favor shooting sniper games. The third thing you'll need are miniatures. Now, Planet 28 is miniature agnostic and scale agnostic, meaning it's not tied to any particular range of miniatures or any particular size of miniatures. So there are plenty of examples out there of affordably priced sci-fi minis, like these from Anvil Industry for their Afterlife game. But I'm probably going to be looking at using my Star Wars Legion minis. You can also use larger scale items from Fallout, as some of the sci-fi and futuristic look fits that pulpy Planet 28 vibe. But very prevalent are the miniatures produced by the 800-pound gorilla in the miniature wargaming world, Games Workshop. Some of the regular battle miniatures will fit nicely into some games here, and they're widely available. However, what I really prefer, and I think fits that high gothic sci-fi vibe, pulp feel of the game, are the miniatures Games Workshop makes as part of its Blackstone Fortress line, and what can be found in the Rogue Trader box. The next thing you'll need are dice. Now, Planet 28 requires the same type of dice you find in Dungeons and Dragons and most role-playing games. So you can go to your friendly local game store, get the standard set of polyhedron dice. So that's a D4, D6, D8, D10, D12, and D20. Now you can get away with using just one set, but you can never have just one set of dice. Go ahead and pick up a couple, especially if you got to share them. The fifth thing you'll need for the game is a tape measure or ruler. Now, Planet 28 was designed with the idea that you'd measure in centimeters, so make sure that you have a centimeter size to your ruler, or you know what, if you want to substitute inches for centimeters, who's going to stop you? The last thing you'll need, even though it doesn't say it's mandatory, it recommends this, is some paper and a pen or pencil with which to write upon the paper. And this is just a good idea to record stats and game states of the board and what's happening during the game, so that you and anyone you're playing with just don't forget what's going on and, avoid misunderstandings. Thank you for watching, and please join us in the next episode where we'll discuss Planet 28's game mechanics.